Hey guys, how's everybody doing? Thanks for being here. Good afternoon. I don't always know. I shouldn't say thanks for being here when there's not even anyone here yet. It's just a habit. I apologize. I guess I say that because that's what I say when I start a non-live video. All right. Well, while we are waiting for people to get here, the market just closed. Let's see what happened. Well, it didn't really close on the highs. Let's slide down here to the shorter time frame. It pulled back to the 20 period moving average. This is on the 30-minute bar chart. So this is just reverted. I don't know that means the right word, but let's see where we are on the, and actually, well, I don't know. Mean is 66.16 and we finished, it looks like, at 66.17. So anyway, revert to mean, the old revert to mean play. That happens tons. That's fine. It's whatever. Happens all the time. In a bull market, lots of times the pulling back to mean sometimes can be a place where you could scalp and get back in on the long side, but not always. But like right here's an example on the NASDAQ. They got ahead of themselves right here out of the bands. They came back in the bands, but they just on the volume profile, they came back and they hit the last volume profile. Testing the last volume profile is a very common thing. Getting too far ahead of yourself and testing the most recent volume profile, or the most recent high volume notice, I should say. All right, let's see what Bitcoin's doing. Let's see if it's doing any of that reversion to the mean stuff. I don't like this chart. I don't know why I always pull this Bitfinex. I guess it's just the one that's in there. Let's go Coinbase. Okay, well, still looks better than it was looking for a while, a few weeks ago. We'll take it 10 years down. 30 basis points. Look at AMD up. You got to love AMD being up. Amazon. Well, Amazon's up 1.25 today. ARK up big today, more than a point, coming off a big gap. Good job holding the gap all day. So that's, there's more stuff to look at than just that, but that's a real good signal for the short term of ARK when it holds the gap. At least till the end of the day. We'll see if we get continuation. Not always. Sometimes it reverses and goes the other way. I'm trying to find one where it did it right here, held the gap till the end of the day, and that turned out to be a good one. But there's probably other instances on here. Right here, this day right here, big gap, and it held the gap. The gap's still open today, and sure enough, you do get some follow through the next day. All right, well, let's look at Coinbase. Coinbase is up in the post market a little bit, not too much. Anyway, let's see, GME 2.59%. Would you take a look at that? GME is a good example of a bullish gap holding and it turning into some continued bullish momentum. Google's the textbook of that situation lately, anyway. Let's look at MicroStrategies. It's actually up a little bit today, though. Hopefully it's bottomed out here and it's going to turn around. NVIDIA. What else should we look at? The VIX chart. I put a chart on the bottom down here. We were looking at this morning. This is my pros versus shows indicator. This is SPY over VIX. But you see when they have a bear cross, what the market does afterwards. The last time they had a bull cross, we had a bull cross back in back in summer, and that's obviously been a good signal back in July. Remember, everyone thought it was going to crash in July. Mid-July was the last time everyone thought it was going to crash for sure. It seems like, and now we're kind of back there again. But this buy signal right here was actually on 16th of December. That one wasn't a great one. The market pretty much went sideways. So it doesn't always work. It's just one of many things to look at. But this last sell signal was a good call. All right. Here's a different ratio. This one gave the same sell. This is a VIVIX over VIX. This is the pros versus Joe's indicator we look at every morning. But this one gave a sell signal on February 28th. The buy signal was real late, though, granted, for sure. Sometimes it gives good buy signals, too. Anyway, it's whatever. All right, well, that's enough for the VIX, for volatility, for VIVIX. But it is concerning that both VIX and VIVIX are up today. What's going on with that? When the market's up also. You know what they say, VIX up, market up, can't. Or I don't know what they say, but VIX up, market up's not a good combination. Usually not good for the market. But so what I think one way to look at it would be is that the Joes are buying in, because the VIX is a Joe's indicator. And so VIX being up, Joes are buying insurance, but VIVIX is up more than VIX today. So that means pros are actually today VIX is up more than, anyway, it's whatever. We need to study the ratio, anyway, it means when they're both up, it means people are putting on hedges and willing to pay up for protection. All right, so let's look at the crypto quartet and see how the crypto quartet ended out the day. Then I have some cool stuff to look at on the REX shares. I added them to the max factor. We'll talk about it. All right, so what do we have here? Alti. All right, so Alti is up 90 basis points. I still haven't fixed it. This is based on last week's data. I forgot to run the update script this weekend. So, and I waited too late. And by the time that it starts trading again this morning, you can't do anything about it. So, or I can't. So anyway, there may be a stock or two that they switched a little bit, or certainly some of these allocations, maybe they cut Coinbase's allocation down a little bit. I don't know. Anyway, but I do know this thing on the right's right. Alti is really up 90 basis points. So that's good. The average stock being up 3.55, that may or may not be right because it's only as accurate as the data that I put in here. The other day they had 19% cash. So this is from Thursday night's update because that's the last time I refreshed. They could have way less cash now. So don't hold me anyway. But so with that caveat, we can still see basically how they did. All right, in some of the stocks they have in there, because it's not like they're going to change all the stocks. They may have dropped one or two of them. All right, so and they may have added one and dropped one. That's their standard deal. So anyway, so that's Alti, but the same thing applies to this whole spreadsheet right here. So the same, for in other words, so for LFGY2, this may or may not be accurate. The thing down to the right should be. It's up 90 basis points. Okay, I'm doubting that Alti and LFG are both up 90 basis points. All right, so let me go. I'm going to check that. It does say LFG's up 90 basis points. I'm going to the source here. Is Alti really up 90 basis points? Okay, well, now it's great. I'll take it. How much do you think Blocks is up? If Alti and heck yeah, I'll be darned. All right. Well, so first of all, how much do you think Salty's down? If Alti's up 90 basis points, yeah, we'll see. We'll go see. Positions. All right. So anyway, we looked at LFGY. So Blocks. So I would say Blocks is up twice as much. But I don't know. Some of the crypto stuff was under pressure earlier, but I think it turned around. Blocks is incredible. I got my Blocks hat over there. I think you can probably see it on the 4K. We're in 4K again today, I think. Sometimes I forget to hit the switch and we're just in 720. But at least now that I have a good camera, we're never in 480 because I don't use the computer camera anymore, except on Friday afternoon when I forgot to plug the computer camera in. So anyway, All right. So what do we have here? Blocks. So blocks really is up 82 basis points. Okay. That's the problem is this because this darn HODL. Why is HODL down 11.78? So that's not even true, is it? It's never true. HODL's not down 11.78. What the heck? Does HODL pay option? I mean, does HODL pay do they pay dividends or something? They drop like a yield, like a high yield stock or something. I mean, they had earnings back here. So what's the news? Is that news right there? Ah, okay. SLO strategies. Well, this is a different. Okay, that's a different HODL. Okay, that's the problem. And somebody told me that in Discord, and I didn't catch on. Well, why? Okay, I get that. So of course, HODL's not down 11. Van Eck Bitcoin HODL is not down 11. So I have the wrong code in the spreadsheet, and somebody tried to tell me that, but I don't though. The code in the spreadsheet says HODL on. Anyway, okay, I'll troubleshoot that. Well, that's fine. So HODL's fine. So HODL's up. Blocks is up. They also own ETHA, although they are not ETHA. They aren't up as much as LFGY and Alti. I would call those kind of their brethren. Oh, there's a cat. Is that a cat out there? Yeah. I saw something move out there and there's eyes staring at me. Yeah, there's a gray cat out there. All right. All right, so we have ETHA. Anyway, we'll go back here to the crypto quartet. Good day. I mean, still trying to figure this out. It bothers me, this one. Maybe I think I know a way to fix it. I'll fix it later. I think I could see maybe what the situation is. All right. So let's do something else. Let's finish up on this crypto quartet. Let's look over here at Salty. All right, now Salty's down $1.52, and it's on the counterpart, which it isn't a direct inverse, but still, if it's doing any good, if it's doing very well, it ought to be, in my opinion, down a little bit less than the other one's up. But not the case today. Not the case today. I mean, a bunch of these are up big. Look, they're short circle and getting just killed. Lemonade, whatever that is, killing them. All right. Well, I mean, not much you can do if you're a short ETF and your short strategy, let's just say, and your average ticker's up 1.6%. So, all right. Let's see. Let's go to the index buffer report. All right, yield max buffer. Let's just see what's going on in yield max land really quick. It's Google again. GUI, AIYY, TSLY. Look at Infly performing the parent. GDXY almost outperforming the parent. SMCY outperforming the parent. Coney outperforming, as is JPMO. Good day for outperformance in yield max land. Alti's outperforming the parent. I'm using the NASDAQ for the parent. NASDAQ's up 34 basis points. Alti's up 90 basis points. Good job doing what it's designed to do. Or I should say, it's not really designed to beat the index, but that's a success. If it can beat this, that's a successful day, though. If it's ahead of the index, it's definitely a successful day. Really, to make it totally fair, because Alti takes really high beta kind of outlandish bets, I should probably compare it to a leveraged version of the index, but I don't think there is a double leveraged. And I don't think Alti it does such crazy stuff. It's worth comparing it to a triple leverage. But anyway, all right. So let's look and see what else. Let's look over here at the regular index buffer report. Is this Q up? What is the deal with Q up? This must have a wrong ticker in here or something too. There's no way Q up is or the triple Qs aren't up. No, this is wrong. I mean, anyway, let's go look. So for one thing, their Q up's parent is TQQQ, and it was showing these were up 2.55. Holy cow. Did I miss that? Well, the NASDAQ was up 70 basis points. It must have melted up right into the close, and I was a little bit delayed. Okay. Well, heck yeah, NASDAQ's up 70 basis points. Leverage funds are going to do fine. But still, ES was only up 46 basis points. I wouldn't think Q up. Oh, but it's Q up. It's not ES up. It's not S up. It's Q up. Okay. Duh. Yeah. Get this. They buy at the money options, and the freaking asset goes up right at the end of the day by nearly 1%. And you have all these. You have a tenth of your portfolio on at the money options. You can do pretty well. But still, that's amazing. They're up 10% though. I'm still not buying that part of it. I love Q up's plan. How can we look at Q up? Let's just look at Q up here. You can't look at them that. It's short term of a perspective. It's saying it's up 3.59. So anyway, let's go back here. It's a Google problem. That's fine. I won't get upset about it. But still, though, I use this benchmark to be the triple leveraged Qs, and that was up 2.5 and deserved to be. And this beat it. It's up 3.5. That Q up's a pretty serious fund. I know this isn't a Q up episode, but I mean, I just really. It doesn't pay a dividend, so it's not in the max factor, but this is one of my favorite little tactical things. So let's compare it to, we'll compare it to the TQQQ. So here's Q up to the triple Qs going back to the bullish triple Qs, going back to inception. Yeah, okay. You can see the triple leverage Qs were down 40% in April. I mean, Q up just got announced, March 19th. Lousy time for leveraged long fund to come out. And they did. They dropped 20%, but 20%'s not really that bad. I mean, because they've recovered at the same rate the triple leveraged has. And maybe part of it's because they didn't drop as far, so they didn't have to go from as far to depth. But when you look at Q up, this is just a really cool little fund. How did I discover this? I think one of you guys told me about it. Q up and Q down. Q down may be done. I think they may have shut it down. Last time I looked, I couldn't find it. But anyway, yeah, for a little tactical thing, this little thing now, it did look like it outperformed the NASDAQ on the way down. The NASDAQ was down almost 20%. It just by eyeballing, and this was down a little bit more than 20%. But be that as it may, it's just spanked the NASDAQ back on the way up. I mean, what a great little fund there for a little tactical use. And maybe instead of TQQQ or in lieu of TQQQ or maybe in a different or TQQQ. TQQQ. Maybe in a little bit different situation or something. Anyway, okay, back to the next buffer report. Let's look at the normal stuff. XDTE outperforming the parent. YMAG looking really good. Google's on fire. Look at GPTY looking really good. KQQQ looking really good. They all have Google in them. XOVR looking really, really nice. Why triple Q down, but it's not down as much as that dog Salty is. Salty dog. I sure am glad I haven't swapped my white triple Q for Salty yet. Anyway, it's whatever. All right, so what's going on? Yeah. Okay, Marcus, we need to talk about that. I'm going to talk about that real quick before I forgot. So this morning I said, what, 30 or 40? Because I said about half of WiMAX. I don't even know what WiMAX really pays. So I looked, and it depends on how you compute it, but around 70. So half would have been 35, but no, it paid way better. It paid, 53. So it paid more like, and then you can look at WiMAX or WiMAX. I'm talking WiMAX, not WiMAX. But anyway, yeah. So it looks like it's getting about 8/10 of WiMAX's yield. And I'm sure, there's Jackson. I'm sorry, buddy. I didn't mean to kick you. And catching a lot more upside. I can't wait for WPay to get on the max factor. Maybe we'll find a way to put it. I've thought of a workaround to put something on the max factor instantly the day it comes out or the day it pays its first dividend. I could put it on there because we could just annualize the dividend after that. But it would be the biggest case of cherry picking. And to base something on a 1 week's worth of data, because in that 1 week, let's say the NAV's up 2%, it just wouldn't work. We have to have some kind of record to be any type of objectivity at all. All right. Hey, Mike, thanks for being here. Mark, thank you. As always, Mark's always here. I appreciate you. Mark and Marcus typically always here. Stet Flash, thank you so much. It means one of them is lying. Yeah, absolutely. Or mistaking or whatever. But yeah, I got you. Or wrong. Yeah, it means somebody's wrong. Exactly. One of the indicators is lying to you. I get. Yeah, exactly. So either the pros are wrong or the Joes are wrong. Yeah. But I love that kind of stuff. Really, a more accurate way to look at it is to chart the inversion or the backwardation of. It's another way to look at it, to chart the spread between the near month and far month futures contracts. Just chart it yourself, and you can see in the backwardation and stuff. It's the same thing. It's a similar type. It gives you similar signals. It gets you out. You can see it. You can see the relationship becoming unhealthy. Yeah, I think we did have some people in here that have some COIW. Hopefully they'll talk to you in the comments, but I know I think we have a couple of people on our Discord that do. I have Coney. You know me, I'm a yield max guy. Not very much of it. And in fact, I probably have, and then I also have a little fiat. So really I'm basically neutral that anyway. All right. Well, I just have it. Not very much though. All right. So Mark, yeah, okay. He's talking about that. Yeah, on the Joe's being wrong. Exactly. That's exactly the whole idea. And I don't know what happened to Jay's podcast, The Broken Pie Chart. It used to be on every week. Maybe they went subscription or something. But anyway, Jay used to always talk about that. Not that he's freaking Warren Buffett or George Soros or whoever, the Stanley Druckenmiller, but still they are professional traders. They used to always talk, but he has a good track record too. I'm not trying to throw shade on him, but him and his partner, I forget the guy's name, Derek, used to always talk about the VIVIX. That's all they used to talk about, the VIVIX. And I think the VIVIX is a great way, compared it to the VIX and stuff, a great way to look at the pros versus Joes. All right. So Marcus, now that W pays a Wednesday pay or what, I guess nothing. I guess not a darn thing in the world. Because before on Wednesday, didn't we have that for a while? We just had week, WEEK, and wasn't it kind of weak? Anyway, well, let's do the, I have some cool stuff to show you guys. There's 12 of you here. So before I run everybody off, let's go to the max factor, the new and improved max factor. All right. How does that sound? How does that sound to everybody? All right, the new max factor. Just wait for a big red day. Yeah, good advice. All right. All right. So what I did is I made a copy of the max factor, but this was about 5 or 10 minutes ago. It's close enough. The markets may have moved a little bit then today. This is close enough. So I made it just a sortable table just so we can look at stuff. So this is sorted right here by the short-term max factor as of the end of the day. And that's what I wanted to look at really quick. And I said I was going to make a graphic, so I'll make it easier to look at, but I didn't have time to. I got busy playing my guitar. But I want to talk about this for a second. I didn't even mow my neighbor's yard yet. I still got to go do that. But I'm going to do that here in a little bit. This is cool though, and I did fix the max factor. I just didn't want to jack with the infographic yet. I tried to correct the problem yesterday because I didn't know that the Rex ones were any of them were eligible. The good news is there's only 4 of them, but I put them in here. So trying to think, I could put WPay in here right now. I think the way I have the programming, it would just be extremely unfair because I have it set if it hasn't been out a year to take the date and annualize it. Maybe we'll make a child's table for ones that aren't yet, make a kid's table for ones that aren't yet a quarter. I'll look into that tomorrow. That might be fun. And we can put ones that are, as they come out, we'll start tracking them. That'll be real fun, won't it? All right. Anyway, but apologies to Rex shares. They came in, if the list was right, it would have gone YETH, GUI, Goop, Tesla, XYLG. Ignore it. XYLG really, honestly, probably shouldn't be there. And QYLG, there's a data problem with that I haven't fixed yet. So QYLG should for sure not be there. XYLG should, it's an edge case. Anyway, but right after that is TSII. And it even beats TSLP. So, but it didn't compete yesterday. I caught that XYLG this is the one thing that's jacked up. And I emailed Rob about it, but I haven't checked to see if he's got back to me today. He probably has. Out of all the stuff, everything worked except for some reason it's returning a trailing 12-month dividend on QYLG, $7.12. And that's not their trailing 12-month dividend. It's like $1.50. Anyway, so I caught that on the presentation yesterday, and I just hand typed in the $1.50. I guess I could do that again here. Sorry about that. It's something. It's $1.56 or whatever. Close enough for government work like I said. I'm not going to hit resort because I don't want to jack with that right now. But just that's not supposed to be there. All right. But anyway, then we have TS2. So let's look and see what it's done that's so great. 90 days ago, the price is 22, 23. Price is 28 now. So it went from 23 to 28, $5, up $5 on something that cost $23. Pretty dang good. So that right there equates to a quarterly NAV of 23% up positive. At the same time, it paid a 28% yield. It's that mythical, well-balanced fund that I'm always looking for. I want one that's 100 and 100. Yeah, I want everything. I want one that's 100% total return, 100% NAV return, right? I don't know if that exists. I mean, they can do it consistently anyway. But this is that level in the 20s, and that's just for a quarter there. But anyway, okay, so yeah, this is a great fund. So then let's go across here. The only it probably got marked down a little bit for having a 40 vol, but all these other ones that are up here, YETH is number one, and it had a 50 vol. But that's just like if it had a VIX, what its VIX would be. Oh, but also it wasn't in our Tesla presentation last night either. I think I put it in this morning. No, I meant to put it in. Okay, well, anyway, whatever. I'll do that later. But let's just look at the Tesla presentation. Well, we know because it's ahead of, let's look here. We don't have to put in the Tesla presentation. We can see here it's ahead of TSLP. And TSLP is a darn good fund. They sell monthly options. TSII does it a little bit different. They sell, I don't know what time frame they sell in. I think weekly. I think they do the yield max game plan with half the portfolio, synthetic covered calls, right, with half. And then the other half, they have some leverage swaps where they're leveraged out to about 150%, something like that. Anyway, whatever they're doing a good job. Because they're also beating where's the Round Hill one? The Round Hill one must not have made it in here yet. Or do they even have a Round Hill W? Yeah, TSLW. Where's TSLW? I mean, TSLW is the one that you would expect to be up here. Let me scan down real quick. And TSLW is down here at number 31. Anyway, okay. So we're going to keep on the Rex shares for now. We aren't swapping tracks to Round Hill. But anyway, so good job, Rex. Got there on TS2. Great job. Anyway, TSLP, just whichever one meets your needs. A TSLP has a longer track record. For a whole year, yes, last year they made it 23%. Is that, I'm trying to think. Or no, that's not right. For a whole year last year, they made a 30% total return. TSII, TS2 hasn't been out for a whole year yet. But you could see, I mean, here's the thing. The shorter term, you have more yield. The longer term, you have more potential for upside. Longer. So sure enough, on the TSII, they had a, well, actually, no, this disproves that theory. But anyway, I'll do some more work on that. But anyway, so this is using, anyway, it's not the same thing. You can't, anyway, let's just go see what the other Rex shares are here. But I would have expected, well, no, that's what it is. Yeah, if they sold 100% of the assets in the fund, if they overwrote the whole portfolio, I would expect TS2 to bring in more yield. And they would, because they're only selling on half the fund. They would bring in 56 where they overwrite the whole thing. So they only bring in 28, but that leaves them half unencumbered, and not even unencumbered, levered a little bit. So, I mean, that's awesome, going from 23 to 28. Okay, let's go see. Real quick, I do want to say though, but I mean, TSLP could work also. It went from 20 to 22. I mean, it was up 10%, and it paid a little bit higher of a yield. So anyway, but it just depends on your needs. TSLP had a little bit less volatility. Anyway, let's go down here and see now. The next one that got jacked around was NV2. NV2 came in 17th, and it should have come in. The reason I say 17th, I know it's 19 next to it because it starts on 2. Came in, so it should have come in. Hopefully the 1080, you guys could see that all right. NV2, it should have come. Gosh darn it. Let's just look at it. But yeah, it should have come in 17th. Is all I was trying to say. So let's compare it here. It's been out since May. Well, this one should have been on the list for a long while, and I don't know if it was or it wasn't. But then the other two are there's 2 more on here too, and I'm going to go through all of them since we missed out on them. Anyway, this was a good one right here. Went from 26 to 31, or 27 to 31. So it's a 15% quarterly NAV return. And 28 on a VIX on a vol. I mean, on a 34% yield with the 15% quarterly NAV return. I'm surprised that one wasn't a little higher. But anyway, you can see the other ones around it are doing the same thing, yielding 30, have good NAV return. But that one's getting jacked around though. Look at QDT. You can make it. Here's a QDTE is ahead of it, even though it was only up 3 instead of 15. It was only about a fifth as much in the same yield, but QDT's rocks. It's a lot more stable as far as that. Look at the volatility of QDT's 10. QDT, and that's why people always say it doesn't have down decay, and it doesn't. People love Round Hill or whatever because they get a lot of upside, and they do a good job for several reasons. But that's part of the reason. It's a real steady fund. All right, so I'll zoom back out. Let's see what else we have. So anyway, NV2 is getting jacked around, but even if I put it ahead of QDTE, even if I made the algorithm, because you can make a case that it's definitely doing a lot better than QDTE and SDTY. Although now let's look at SDTY from YieldMax. This one looks pretty darn good. Paying about no, never mind. All right, so let's look here. What's our next one from Rex Shares? Did I miss it? There's MS2 and CO2, right? I must have missed it. I mean, but here's Coney. Coney's all the way down here at 113. I mean, but Coney is down 8% on the quarter. NAV. I mean, sure, it's paying a lot of yield. I mean, because its NAV's partly because its NAV's always dropping. Look at NBYY all the way down here. All right, COI, I don't think this worked or something because I put these on at the bottom and there's no way these are both last. And maybe I just haven't hit search since I put them on here. I mean, haven't hit refresh. But there's no way. Yeah, sure enough. For some reason, Biggie's not working. Why isn't Biggie where there's some problem with Biggie's yield? But anyway, so ignoring that, let's go back and look at these two again. Okay, Rex would have been right here and TS2 would have been right together. I guess I hadn't hit search or hadn't hit sorts yet. And then let's see further down the list. There's CO2 at 81. I wanted to look at this one. Okay. So CO2, 90 days ago, it was at 24 and a half, and it's at the same price now. It's mid 24s, but it's paid a 60% yield. Okay. So, but it has a 60 volatility, I guess. So it may, I guess it's a little deceptive, but any event. Okay, let's see where the other one is. I guess MS2 is the only other unaccounted rec shares. Let's go see where MS2 is. Looking for you. There's MS2 down here. MS2 is yielding 46. 90 days ago, it was at 24 and change. Recently, it's at 19 and change. So it's had kind of a bad quarter. That's why the price is down about, or the NAV's down about 20%. Now, granted, it's still yielded 46%, probably still positive on your investment. I mean, so I'm sure you are. It has a 54 vol also. So we'll keep an eye on those Rex ones. They just hit the index, but they just hit the thing. What else was I just talking about that I needed to make sure was on here? And I said, is that on the max factor? And I didn't even know if it was. I was talking about something a little while ago. All right. Well, anyway, that's the max factor for today. We can, if there's anything else, we can darn sure talk about it. Blocks is definitely a beast. Let me see what you guys are talking about. If you're just talking to yourself. Red Sox made a prediction. He's saying WPay looks good. Palantir better. Mark this down for a week. Okay, for next week. All right. I freed up. Okay, that's whatever. Marcus, yes, Blocks is still a beast. Oh, and yeah, Red Sox, you went from 10% from Coney down to 2. Well, you probably did pretty well. Coney's been wonderful, hasn't it? Doesn't Coney just have? I mean, hasn't Coney just killed it? I mean, or especially they were killing it. Let me look. That's why I got it. As you guys know, I buy tops. And I got some like, I don't know, last December. Anyway, then I got shaken out in April, shook out, whatever you say that. I mean, what's not to like though? Why can't I see the forest for the trees sometimes? So the bottom, the top one is dividends reinvested. Look how much different you do. Does Coinbase pay? What is the deal with this? Well, what is the matter with this? Why does it look on this chart, on the top chart, like Coinbase does better with dividends reinvested than without dividends reinvested? I mean, it does do better. This Coinbase doesn't pay a dividend. What the heck? I think this thing's I need to quit using this. I've never noticed. Now it is the math's right. The graph is wrong. The math's right. So because it's the math's okay. I don't know. Anyway, so don't look at the graph. I guess is the thing here. But or look at the bottom graph because I think. Yes, because I'm looking at the wrong thing. Okay. Oh my gosh. I thought Coney, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Of course. So of course. Coinbase doesn't pay a dividend and it's spanking it. My bad. But yeah. Okay. So this would make sense, of course, because when you pay a gigantic dividend, but yeah, I mean, you are leaving a lot, even with dividends reinvested, you're leaving a lot of upside on the table. But oh well, it's making a good yield on it. Started at 19, it's at 7. I mean, that sucks, but I mean, it's paid a lot of yield over that time period, right? Yeah, I thought I was getting the blue and gray mixed up. Yeah, okay, what now? Total, yeah, all right. Total price declined 8%. Okay. Yeah, which that's a good question. CONY, CO. Yeah, Dan, how are you doing here? Let's look on the max factor and try to see on the max factor what it says. All right. So who is the best Coney? I have COIW. And let's just review it, unless I slid by anything too fast. But 90 days ago it was at 37. It's at nearly 41 now, up just 8%, 67% yield, 67 vol. But whatever. I mean, it moves all over the board. But I mean, it also moves up fast too. So yeah, I would definitely say COIW or the max factor would. I don't recommend stuff, but the data over the last quarter, the data would suggest COIW. But the next closest is COII. 90 days ago, we looked at this already. It was at the same price in 90 days, but it paid a 60, but it was super volatile. But the other one was super volatile too. And the other one's NAV. I mean, I'm talking COIW. COIW's NAV was also going up. So I would say just over this short time frame, this test does not look good for does not look that impressive for Round Hill. Let's see what else we have here. There's that old MS2. We can also look. We'll start doing something where we do the short term in the morning and the long term in the afternoon. We've been looking at this enough, but we can look at the long term. We'll probably make the long terms for the afternoon and the short terms for the morning, since it's more of a trading index. And then the afternoons. I just don't want to flip to the long term and start talking about it. I'll never quit talking. We can still see if Misty's in number one. Still Misty Maxi Goop. So it's still the same thing. And none of the new ones that I put on should affect the long term. And also back to the Coney example, we were just talking about Coney because Steve Red Sox was saying he cut it from 10 to 2. Well, but I said you've done pretty well in it. And the reason I knew he had done pretty well is because I remember it's one of the highest ranked ones in the max factor. The max factor goes back a year. Going back a year, that started at 7. Yeah, like you said, an 8. That's what Red Sox was saying. An 8.79 or 8.9% price drop. That's exactly right. And yeah. Anyway, I was wondering exactly what you're saying, but that's it. So it dropped, call it 9%. That's nothing. It dropped 9% in a year and it paid 144%. So that's been a very good investment. Yeah, it has a 53 vol. So it has 5 times the market vol. Okay. So most people have a 60-40 and have hundreds of thousands, if not more, in hopefully stable, growth or normal TradFi investments. But if you have 50,000 of this or something amounting to 5% of your portfolio or something, and it's doing stuff like this. This can really make a big difference in retirement. But obviously, you want to take it into account. It's a 53 vol. That's why you don't put your whole portfolio into it, right? But yeah, that's been an amazing investment. Look over here, TSLP has been an amazing investment also. I mean, all of these have been. Misty Maxi, Goop, Snowy, YBTC, Tesla. I can't believe Tesla's on here though, but if you look at the numbers on Tesla, it went from 8 to 8. It's because Elon got in with Trump. Yeah, I'm guessing. Because if you look back a year ago, what was happening a year ago? We didn't know if Trump was going to be elected yet. It was last September. It was 50. It was a coin toss at that point. So Tesla's future in the past year has changed drastically. And I think they benefited off it. And they've been doing well lately. So, but yeah, that's been a great investment here because that's volatile, but it's only 2.5 times as volatile as the overall market. Or Tesla's 3.5 times as volatile as the overall market, but it's paid 102% yield. Remember, people would give other people hard times for being all in on Tesla or whatever. But if they were all in on Tesla in a small enough allocation, because, where they didn't get margin called or something and they could hold it, they were able to allocate and not trade it. Over the past year, you got to say that Tesla's been pretty good. I mean, NAV up 6%, I almost don't believe that. I almost think, is that right? Has Tesla really been that good? Let's put Tesla in the dividend calculator. According to this, it hasn't been that good. But because that's too long of a time frame. Okay, what am I going to say? Let's just go back here to September 15th of 2024. Yeah, it's been really good. It's been a great year to be Tesla. If you could, my point is, if you could withstand the ups and downs. So knowing that something's a 34 vol, it's like a VIX of 34. Just invest accordingly. I guess it would, if it was a VIX, it would have a VIX of 34. So let's look at this. And Tesla's beating TSLP. That's impressive to me too. That's very impressive to me, but so short term gets more yield. Tesla has 102% yield. Short term options are more effective gathering yield, less effective gathering upside. TSLP has about half the yield, but look at this. They went from 20 to 22. Tesla went from 8 to 8, basically. They went from low 8s to mid 8s. So if you're ultra concerned about NAV, Curve is probably a better buy for you. If you don't care and you want a little bit more income or whatever. Anyway, but yeah, we'll look at that more later. We will look at that more later. Yeah, COIW did take a big dump in August. Yeah, oh my God, I remember that. It was like, because it had earnings, and it like the mother of all dumps, it's never recovered, has it? I don't know that it ever will recover. I'm talking Coinbase, not COIW. Hopefully will recover because it'll pay enough dividends. The dividends will bring it back. But no, COIW just has all this overhead supply over it right here, because of this gigantic gap. They'll get through it. I'm just joking. They'll probably just blast through it in one day or something. But anyway, it's something to look at until the time when they do get through it, for sure. For sure. Yeah, that was, it dropped. When your underlying drops from 366 to, drops 10% on the open the next day, and then in the next couple of days is down another 15% for a total drop of 25%. It's not going to do much. You can't do much about that with your leverage covered call fund. Your leverage covered call fund doesn't look that bad. Let me see if I have dividends turned on. Hang on. I probably have dividends turned on. Dividends turned on. No, dividends aren't even turned on. Dividends turned on, you'll be fine. It's just going to have to work, especially if the stock can work its way through there. It needs help from the stock, right? Yeah, you just hope Misty pays $1. I hope so too. I hope so too. All right, guys. Well, in the absence of any other questions, I'm gonna let you guys go, and I'll be back in the morning. I got to go mow my neighbor's yard or play guitar, whichever comes first. I won't play my guitar. I really do need to mow her yard. She has leaves that's fallen by. Anyway, the grass dies in August. And you don't really have to mow it for the sake of this time of year, August, September. You don't really have to mow it. It's been so hot for so long here. Last August, it was straight dead, and there was nothing growing. We had a little bit of rain back in July, if you remember the big flood we have. So the grass still has a little bit of green to it. It grows a little bit, but you maybe have to mow once every 3 weeks. But now we're getting into leaf season, and she has a bunch of big old leaves back there she wants me to go pick up. So I'm just being lazy. Oh, never mind for what? I didn't, yeah, thank you very much. I thought you would put never mind. I'm blind. All right. Yeah, COIW dumped overnight. There was nothing. So I figured hopefully it'll recover. Yeah, exactly. There was nothing you could have done about that. It was an earnings announcement and it opened the next morning. It was a shame. It was a shame, but it was literally the day after you bought it. I remember that. I remember talking to you in Discord about it. We were all talking about it. You were talking to all of us, not just me. All right, guys. Thank you very much. Appreciate you guys. Hit me up in Discord if there's anything we forgot to talk about, anything I didn't cover, anything you want me to cover next time. Just let me know. And God bless Rob O'Toole for helping me. And I knew I said I wasn't going to give him any more shout outs, but how good is it to have the Max Factor working? So all I have to do now is figure out how to put an attractive front on it where we aren't looking at a spreadsheet, and this is going to be wonderful. My content's going to get 100 times better. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Have a great day.